In order to save the world from Leviathan, Clark Kent and Lois Lane are going to have to go undercover in one of the deadliest spy organizations known to the DC Universe. All this and more in the pages of Action Comics number 1010. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? Alrighty then, so this comic actually opens up with a really unexpected but really pleasantly surprising little exchange. You see, Mr. Bones, the head of the DEO, is currently still being held by the government after his organization was destroyed by the mysterious Leviathan. He's met by his lawyer, Kate Spencer, who, if you've been reading Green Arrow, you'll remember was actually Oliver Queen's lawyer, and a few crises ago also went under the superhero name Manhunter, but that hasn't really materialized yet for whatever reason. Now, what on earth does a Seattle-based lawyer have to do with the DEO and all of this crazy super spy stuff? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. All she says is that a friend recommended her to Mr. Bones. And considering that it was Adam Strange who actually saved Mr. Bones from his own demise, and Adam Strange and Green Arrow were on that short-lived Justice League of America run, you can pretty much assume who did what. Spencer says that if she's going to help Bones, he's going to have to be absolutely 100% Oprah honest about what went down. He gets all weird and defensive, but he actually has good reason to. He says that Leviathan is working on something called a Royal Flush, not to be confused with the Royal Flush gang, but trying to get rid of all the super spy agencies. He also riddles out that this woman talking to him right now isn't Kate Spencer at all, but another agent of Leviathan come to do him in. In fact, it's actually kind of hard to tell with the art, but I think they're saying that this was actually Talia al Ghul come to kill Mr. Bones. Now, over in London, we check back on in with Lois and Clark, or should I say Chaz and Andy. They've assumed the identities of two individuals that Spiral was trying to recruit. Now, what's truly surprising about this situation is that Lois is actually kind of excited about doing some hands-on undercover work with her husband. It reminds her of what it meant to be a real hard-hitting journalist, and it's kind of like a couple's vacation too, only, a really dangerous one. This issue also goes out of its way to try and remind us the makeup and power structure of certain super spy groups we haven't seen in a bit, like Checkmate, who, why yes, Amanda Waller is indeed the leader of Task Force X, a high-ranking member of Argus, and a high-ranking member of Checkmate, although we haven't seen Checkmate in forever. And it's clear that Brian Michael Bendis is going off old information because Nemesis is on the team, despite the fact that Nemesis was almost certainly killed at Sanctuary in Heroes in Crisis, as well as Count Vertigo, who doesn't look like this anymore. Also, despite the fact the last time we saw Spiral, King Tiger was the new leader of the organization, according to this page, it's Kathy Kane who has returned to lead her father's old group. Only the comic incorrectly calls her Kate Kane now. Yes, Catherine Webb was the original Earth 1 Batwoman, but they've split the difference between these two characters now. So yeah, after all that geek minutia that only Joel cares about, Superman and Lois end up meeting their contact from Spiral, Tiger. A very cool, very underrated Tim Seeley, Tom King creation from the old Grayson book. Now, Tiger's not an idiot. People are killing super spies left, right, and center for the past few weeks, and then out of the blue, two people that Spiral has been trying to recruit decide now they want to be recruited. Tiger's also nice enough to give our two heroes, and by extension the reader in case they didn't know, an abbreviated origin of Leviathan and Spiral, how they were both started in the New 52 by the same guy. A super spy who went by the name Agent Zero, real name Otto Netz, aka Dr. Daedalus, a Nazi scientist who created both Spiral and Leviathan to oppose one another in a never-ending war that would somehow end with him being immortal. Yeah, no one said it was a great plan. This also reconfirms that Talia al Ghul, while the last leader of Leviathan, never really owned the group, she only inherited it. It's at this point too that strange monster silhouette that we saw destroy the DEO show up here and now. Superman, despite the fact that he's trying to be undercover, decides to go into action to fight it. This leads to a positively hilarious piece of dialogue where Tiger says, "Oh, Shaz was actually Superman all along? I should have known." Superman is able to distract the creature long enough to throw it into space. This is good because it means no one's going to die here today, but when Superman returns, his wife and Tiger are long gone. Well, Superman, maybe you're just not cut out for undercover operations after all. And so that was Action Comics 10,010, everybody, and once again, I continue to actually be enjoying what's going on here in this Leviathan Rising storyline. Unlike a lot of stuff Bendis has written in the main Superman book, I get the distinct feeling he's actually read and researched stuff for this story. Spiral and Leviathan are just two really stellar concepts, and it's about time another writer picked up the ball and ran with it, especially when, King and Seeley did such good work with them in Grayson, and Morrison did such great work with them in Batman Inc. Plus, it's nice to have Superman have to fight a shadow threat that he doesn't fully understand and that he just can't punch into submission right off the bat without learning something about them first. Yeah, there's still continuity issues I could gripe about, but that's an editorial problem at this point. Ultimately, I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not take a look at some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're feeling in a charitable mood, why not check out my Patreon page. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. So, until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I will be continuing to make more comic book videos that smack of greatness. Bye-bye.